How then, YouTube? Hope we're all well. This is a VR to Daryl, and it is going to be a two-part guide to how I smoke a pipe. Hello guys, me again, twice in one night. I do apologise. So, Daryl's going to be wondering what's going off, so I'll tell you and everybody else. As you know, but everybody else doesn't, Daryl emailed me the other day to say that at the weekend, it wasn't near Morrison's, but he tried everywhere else and couldn't get any Special Virginia. So he's decided to have a go at pipe smoking anyway, after watching my video, and try two of the blends what he'd got in stock already, which, perfect. You know, like we said, you've got to crack some eggs to make an omelette. Now, I've just done my last video. Whilst I was doing it, I realised I've still not emailed you back, so I'm sorry about that. Now, as you guys will probably know, I don't read and write very good, and it takes me ages to write a half legible email. So what I thought I'd do for you, mate, is we'll do part one now and part two another day. For the easiest and best is show you how my routine of how I pack a pipe and smoke it, etc. Now, I'm no expert, but I hope this will help you, Daryl, and I know at least if you do it like this, you will be able to get a decent smoke, and you'll be able to home in and improve by watching other more experienced pipe smokers. You'll be able to perfect the method, but this will hopefully get you to a point where you can enjoy it, because he was struggling to keep it lit. So what we'll do, we'll sort of do it in reverse. This is a pipe that I'm going to smoke tomorrow. There's plenty of moisture in this Cult Blood Red Moon, which is a favourite of mine. Plenty of moisture in that, so I'll pack it tonight and light it in the morning. But this pipe's not been cleaned for a few days, so we'll start by cleaning the pipe. This is nearly unrecognisable. What this is, the Savinelli 320 Porter Servo. There, look, KS. And all I do is get some pipe cleaners. These aren't the best, but I'm using them up. I usually take the stem out. I usually bend one in half, and I'll just literally go round and dump that out. Make sure there's no bits of tobacco hanging on. I try not to put any, I know Dale Piper touched on that subject. I try not to touch the inside of the bowl with anything like a knife. I will get the odd bit of tobacco out if I have to, but basically what we're after is just taking all the loose ash out, but leaving any cake to protect your bowl. If you see any chunks of tobacco in the bowl wall, you just want to chip them out. Usually if you get the end of the pipe cleaner, you can literally just flick them off, because what happens is when you pack your bowl again, if they get hot, they can create a hot spot in your bowl. So you don't want to take any carbon off basically, but you want to get all the loose tobacco out. And then what I normally do is do the same in here, because this becomes a bit of a moisture trap, like that. Fold it over again, until it sort of comes out clean. We're getting there, look. Fold this end over again, there, and then clean the draft hole. Make sure that that's nice and clean. Like that. And I do the same with the stem. Start off here, give it a good clean out. This pipe's been smoked probably 4 times without cleaning it. I know some people clean the pipe after every use. I don't think there's any right or wrong answers. It's sort of however you feel. And then last but no means least, I just run a pipe cleaner through top to bottom, like that. I usually run a dirty one through twice. You see what I mean about these pipe cleaners? They rammel like that, and then we'll stick a final one through like that. And especially if you've got pipe cleaners like mine, which are a bit rubbish, it's good then to blow out any rubbish through the bowl. So we'll sit that down. I've brushed up on this in the past, but one of the main problems that I had when I was watching YouTube for help and advice was gauging how tight the drawer should be. I couldn't quite get the perspective on how tight, and for a long time I think I was packing my pipe too tight, and I think it's one of the hardest things to explain. So basically what I'd suggest, Daryl, and any other you guys who's watching, is while your pipe's empty, stick your 9mm filter in. I'm doing it like this because I know Daryl's smoking a filter pipe, and basically feel the draw. Really becomes familiar with the draw. Have 2 or 3 minutes just drawing on the pipe and become familiar with the resistance what this filter is causing, and you take note of the noise. I've heard it being referred to as being like sucking milkshake through a straw, but was that a McDonald's milkshake? Some of them don't even come up the straw. So what you can do is we'll get all this. What you can do is dry your tobacco. So how do you know when your tobacco is dry? Well, basically, if it's too dry, it will sound a bit like tissue paper, a bit crunchy. And if and if it's moist, you'll feel it. So what you want to do is spread your tobacco out over a piece of paper, or if you have got a tobacco tray, spread it all out and dry it and get an idea how long it's going to take to dry. But basically what you're after is something what feels dry but still doesn't sound any different to what it does when it's moist. Because you notice when it starts to dry out too much, it makes a different noise. It makes like a bit of like a tissue paper noise when you're crunching tissue paper. But again, I'm just going to leave this to sit overnight, load it up. I've not heard anybody else doing that, so I don't know if it works for anybody else, but it works for me. But basically, what I suggest is get a pinch, put it in like that, tap the side of the bowl, and you want it full up like that. And then what I do is slightly tamp it down, just like that, very gently, and then fill the bowl up again like that. We're being very gentle here, and then tamp it down again to about the same depth, and then I'll just see if we can just tip this in. I only did it on this tissue paper because couldn't find any paper, and I thought it'd show better than straight onto the table. And then that, tamp it down. Always never fill your bowl right up to the top, because you'll burn the top of your bowl. I always have it about like that. You can see how moist it is. Look how it's sticking to my finger. But tomorrow that'll be perfect. So now, if we leave the filter out and test the draw. Can you hear that? That's drawing just like it did with the filter and no tobacco. Now, when you add the filter, you'll get a little bit more resistance, and then that should smoke just fine. Let's see if it's altered the tone. I hope you can hear that. Now that will smoke just fine. Now, I know some of you guys don't smoke filter pipes, so you will not be able to do this method. And you'll, only thing I can say to you is, it is a bit like sucking pop or a thin milkshake through a straw. That is what kind of resistance you're after. But if you have got a filter pipe, I've found that is the sure way of making sure your pipe is packed right, by explaining it over a video. Basically, that makes any sense. So I hope that's helped, Daryl. Part 2 will cover lighting it, but now you should have a base there to work from. And in part 2 we'll cover cadence, purging the pipe, lighting it, and everything else to finish off an enjoyable smoke. So I hope that helps anybody who needs a little bit of help. Again, like I've said, please, you guys who are long-standing pipe smokers, I'm sure you've got other methods that's perfected this, superseded this, whatever, but this is just what I've found, and this will give you a nice smoke, nice cool bowl throughout. But it does depend on what kind of smoker you are, wet smoker, dry smoker, your cadence. Wind plays a massive part in it if you're outside. That's the other thing I wanted to mention to you, Daryl. if you're smoking outside and it's windy, your pipe will be drawing all the time, and if you try and cover it, that will also help it to draw even more. Because as we all know, when this pipe is about to go out, if you draw on your pipe and cover it, it will then get going again. So there is wind caps what you can buy for a couple of £, what just clip on, and they will solve that issue for you. But like I say, we'll cover all that in video 2. So thanks again for watching, guys, and as always, keep it lit. See you later.